Hello, everybody! Welcome to another episode of our Reddit show where we read and react to trending content and stories. Today, we're going to be reading some of these glorious replies to the Ask Reddit question by Rocker9835. Have you ever practically walked out mid-sex? What happened? Let's get to it. Mark Wee says, this sort of happened to me, but I was the ass. It wasn't dramatic, but hear me out. We were young. She was younger, but a bit more experienced, and took my V-card a few months earlier. We would go at it every chance we could, like rabbits. I went to a school function that was over a weekend. She wasn't there, but the group of us ended up in a single hotel room, like 12 or 15 of us, talking and watching movies. We did not sleep, but I spent a lot of time talking to a friend that I did not find attractive at all. I was very close to my girlfriend. So I get home Sunday night, hadn't slept since Friday morning, go to my girlfriend's, we of course jump right into it. She was so soft and so warm. She smelled so good, and I was about to be a 5-pump chump. So I start thinking about anything I can do to distract myself. Well, somehow I started thinking about my not girlfriend but friend with close name. It worked, and I was able to keep going. So tired, so warm. Next thing I know, I'm moaning, "Oh, not my girlfriend." Girlfriend stopped the action, as is expected. And I don't think she believed I was thinking, "Oh, not my girlfriend," to keep from coming too fast. A few months later, I go to boot camp, come back after 2 months. First night, back in mid-sex, she stops the action and says, "I cheated on you, can you forgive me?" I didn't say anything, but I did finish, then said, "No," and left. A friend had told me he saw her out with a guy the day I left. I think my earlier mistake was the root cause. So, lesson learned. Sleep. If no sleep, keep your mouth shut. Next reply by a username I'm not going to read. Oof. My girlfriend at the time had been riding me rather vigorously and came slightly disconnected on the upswing. Gravity and exuberance drove her back down, snapping at my penis in half, audibly, I might add, on her pelvic bone. Not gonna lie, I wish it had been my nose. Edit. Because a number have asked, no. I didn't go to a hospital or see a urologist. I didn't even think it was that serious at the time. But let's be honest, in the moment, it was fucking serious. No lasting damage, bruising and tenderness for a week and a bit. But no banana bread, no banana bend, no recurring pain, nothing. I consider myself pretty lucky in that regard, considering it could have been catastrophic. Farsight XR adds, you dodged a bullet. There are people out there that will turn everything against you, even just a simple accident. It's now your fault, and she's going to guilt trip you, and someone else in your position may end up feeling sad and apologize in some instances. It's scary that there are actually people that would accept what she is saying is okay, and I'm glad you are not like that. Do not accept that type of bullshit. Ever. She is a terrible, selfish, and unempathetic person. Sometimes it will be over smaller things. If you ever start feeling like any time something happens and you end up feeling like you somehow have done something wrong and have to make it up to a partner, run for your life. They are manipulative, awful people. This is how they work. Once they have someone, they will go along with whatever bullshit they are saying. They know they can continue to abuse them until they see fit. Sometimes you will want to discuss something hurtful that they may have done, and they'll still find a way to turn it against you and make you feel guilty and that it was your fault. I'm glad that you got out of there. I just realized Farsight XR is the name of the weapon in Perfect Dark. That username was a Perfect Dark reference! Oh, wow. Amazing. What a delayed realization on my part. That's one of my favorite games ever. Anyway, Cheesy Bees adds, I had a hookup who kept on biting me. Not a little nibble on the nipple or anything, but chomps out of my pecs and shoulders. This was after discussing it and me saying that I'm into a lot of other stuff he likes, but I really don't like being bitten. I told him 3 times to stop and that I didn't like it. So when it happened after the 3rd time, I just stood up, threw him off me, and told him to fuck off out of my house. I'm a gay bottom dude who, back in the day long ago, in the before times, would happily be up for a fair amount of stuff. Perhaps stupidly. I've been happily handcuffed, tied down, bagged, and screwed before. But sex is about fun and trust, and if someone not only disrespects you, which sometimes can be fun, but also disrespects direct communication and agreed upon limits repeatedly, then for me, I can't trust them, and I can't relax around them, and so can't want to have fun with them anymore. Defense Straight 1123 adds, I had something similar happen with a fuck buddy I'd been seeing for a couple months, but it didn't bleed, so I powered through and saved the conversation for after sex. The conversation went sideways. I told her I don't mind little bites, but she bit too hard, and she got defensive, saying, "You do things that hurt me too." I immediately apologized and went over the safe words that we'd already discussed, asking her to please feel free to safe word in the moment, and sincerely asked her what I've done that crossed her boundaries. I genuinely didn't want to do anything she didn't like or was offended by. No, I like it. So, there's nothing I've done that you haven't enjoyed or wanted me to do? No, I like it. Okay, well, the way you bit me was too hard, and I didn't like it. But you do things that hurt me too. Okay, but that's different if you like them and want me to do them to you. But if I ever do it too hard, you can't hurt me. I'm from Boston. I can kick your ass. What? I think we're losing track of what's important here. I'm from Boston. I can kick your ass. She just got stuck on a loop, repeating louder and louder, I'm from Boston. I can kick your ass. Until her brother's friend came up and to see what was going on. He probably was expecting to have to throw down with me, but instead I was the one who used his presence to grab my shit and run. A few days later, I got a text saying that we had something really special, and she would hate to see that ruined. I didn't reply. Strange aside, she lived with her brother as a roommate, and every time I was over, she would play the same season of The Simpsons on DVD to drown out the noise. Making her come was a puzzle box. It required the timing of 3 different moves in sequence. But now I'm just wondering if The Simpsons was the 4th key. CDN121 adds, Old girlfriend. I was down under and noticed a metallic taste. It was dark, but I wiped my face and my fingers were red. Well, my dumb ass asked if it was the time of the month. She said no, so I scoot to the bathroom, and it looks like I'm painted for clown school. I got all cleaned up, but couldn't figure it out. Then it hit me. Nosebleed. So I get back to my room, explain, and she's crying because she didn't know what was going on. I calm her down, and she goes to the shower. 10 out of 10, do not recommend. So, a nosebleed while you're going down on somebody. Huh. I've never had that experience. Sardond add, this jogged a memory for me. I'm prone to semi-frequent nosebleeds. Yay, genetics. And got woken up in the middle of the night by an ex because I was laying in a puddle of blood on my pillow, and she thought that I had died in the night. This is why I can't have white sheets, by the way. Bloody noses while I'm asleep are a fairly rare thing. I had warned her that I do get them from time to time, usually whenever there's a significant change in humidity or temperature that causes the blood vessels on my nose to crack open and start gushing blood. This was the first and only time I ever got one while I was asleep. Huh? Bloody noses while I'm asleep are a fairly rare thing. Oh, okay, I thought he said common. Scared the absolute shit out of her, though. Whew, yeah, Jesus. And then he says he misses her. Angelic TYTY adds, the other night my boyfriend was about to go down on me and he stopped and grabbed the flashlight and was like, what is it? What's wrong? And he was like, "It's fine, hold on." And I was like, "What's wrong?" And suddenly, I just silently stared and inspected for a minute, and then he finally told me, "I felt something, and I thought it was a piece of toilet paper or something, but your hair was just curled together, I guess." And man, I wish I could have just laughed it off, but I was like completely out of the mood. It took him way too long to just tell me why he pulled the flashlight out. My neurotic ass felt like there was something terribly wrong with my lady bits. So I can tell you from the girl's point of the view, please tell us why you stop. Quickly. Corrupt Coot adds, "Yep. My boyfriend said he felt something hit his back, like it dropped and hit hardish and moved. So we stopped and I checked and nothing was there, so we continued. About a minute later, I had my hand on my boyfriend's shoulder and I feel something move on my hand and I look and it's a huge house spider comes running over to my face. I screamed. My boyfriend looked. He sees the spider, slaps it off my face, and the pair of us get up and nope ourselves out of the room, throwing clothes on as we go. Damn 8 legs ruined our evening." Gainway 4 Foot Cycle replies, "I was going to comment about a similar or the same experience. I had a guy whine and whine about the condom until I noticed a pause between thrusts, and then realized he had quickly and silently taken the condom off. We were in complete darkness, so I couldn't see. I accused him of removing the condom, and he denied it. Turned on the lights and caught him in the act, and then he tried to say it was okay because he was infertile, and then tried to win the sympathy vote by crocodile crying about his empty shooters. Safe to say, I never saw him again." Yeah, power to you for having good judgment. Hell yeah. Fuck that situation. That's some serious betrayals right after each other in a row. Theresno I in a Reddit adds, "Okay, I came here for something like this, but I gotta tell my story now. So I used to work at a bar, and this girl would come in every weekend and just sit and hang out. So one Friday I asked if she wanted to go out the next night for drinks because I had off. Fast forward to the next day, we're drinking and having a good time. We decide to go back to my apartment and have some wine. So naturally, we skip the wine and we're making out on the bed, and I'm on top, and we're naked, and I think things were just going swimmingly. Then wham! She smacked me in the face. I pause and look at her, and in my head, I'm like, the hell was that? But then we just start making out again. Then sure enough, wham! Whacks me from the other side. I just go, okay, stop doing that. And she says, why don't you try hitting me back? Never have I ever asked someone to leave so quickly in my life. Never called her again, and she never came back to the bar. Oh, okay, says, yes, please. The thing that ended our encounter was the feeling that we were on completely separate pages. If she had told me that she was into rougher stuff, we could have talked about it and maybe found some common ground. But the assumption just put distance between us and made the whole thing awkward. And if you talk about it beforehand, you give them the chance to enthusiastically comply. Imagine saying, hey, I like to have my clit bit. And his response is just, word. Can it be hard? I want to bite it hard. Talking about sex is sexy. Yeah, it's also like consensual conversation. It's actually really sad how little a lot of people who have sex with each other communicate. Like the classic scenario is like you have sex and you want to tell the person you're having sex with something, but you can't for whatever reason because you can't just tell them directly. So you complain about it to like your friend, and then like they tell the other friend, and then you hope that one day maybe they will know. It's so dumb. Just talk. Next is a comment by Patty Oeda. You just reminded me of a story from 18 years ago, so here goes. 2-hour journey across Ireland as I was helping my girlfriend move house. Our two friends had a large enclosed Ford Transit van and offered to help move the stuff with us in the back, lying on all the clothes, beds, etc. Great. Got bored quite quickly in the 21 years of age, and I decided it would be a great idea to go down on her. Shortly followed by the main event, all in the dark. After an hour, the van was coming to a halt. Take a break, refuel, whatever. So we put our clothes back on to be presentable to our friends. The door of the transit slid back. We jumped out, perky and friendly from our activity. But the look of horror on their faces was like something I had never seen before. I looked at my girlfriend, and she screamed. There was blood all over my face, down my chin, and dribbled down my white Ireland t-shirt. Period blood. It was a murder scene. Nobody said anything. I washed my face in the petrol station, zipped up my tracksuit top, and rode it off to experience. I'm not ready to laugh about it yet, but someday. Thank you, Josephine. Cheers for that. You should have just been like it was a nosebleed. Gonzo Foot adds, yeah, I was with a girl after I had a fresh breakup. She was being really vulgar about what she wanted me to do with her, and she kept referring to me as her father. Not like in a daddy kink kind of way, she just kept calling me Gary, and, well, this was this woman's father's name. We got started, and then as soon as she said it again, I lost the erection and then pretended to have chest pains and went home. She then spent the next few days messaging me about, it must have been wonderful if I almost gave you a heart attack. I ended up blocking her. Next comment by Lacking Dinosaurs. He was my first Tinder hookup and kept trying to convince me that we couldn't use a condom because he couldn't come with one on. In my naivety, I didn't leave immediately, but instead listed some options that didn't involve his condomless penis in my vagina, but could still potentially allow him to come. He refused all of them and then tried to sneakily take the condom off without me noticing. That was my deal breaker, though in retrospect, it should have been much earlier. And as I said, I need to leave, I calmly dressed and collected my things while he climbed up under his covers and pouted. I blocked his number as soon as I was in my car. Hell yeah! Look at this. People responding to that appropriately by GTFO. Get the fuck out. That's like, you should never, if anybody like, there's a rule basically with sexual stuff because it's so easy for it to get complicated or abusive or people to project their like childhood abuse onto you and think shit's okay when it's fucking not. You should always be able to get out of a situation with words, and the words you use and talk about should match the things that end up happening, and you should be talking. If those things aren't happening, it can get really fucking dangerous, and it's better to just bounce if you feel uncomfortable, because a person who's worth being with will understand if you don't feel comfortable and will stop being sexual and will want you to feel comfortable because that's more important, right? Like, it doesn't matter how horny you are. It's never okay to put another person in a situation where you are actively making them feel uncomfortable. That's never worth you getting sexual satisfaction. Ultraviolet Blueberry adds, oh, this reminded me of the time something similar happened to me. I'd been seeing this guy for a few months. Every time we had sex, condoms. One night we go out and admittedly get really drunk. So we get back to his and start getting at it. It turns out he doesn't want to wear a condom. I stop him and tell him there's no way we are having sex without one. He seemingly understands and we keep making out and then bam, he slips his dick inside of me. I was shocked. I push him off and he's all angry that I did. I'm pissed that he even thought that was a great idea when I said no. So in his anger, he decides to take his dogs out. While he does that, I get dressed, gather my things, and leave. He lives in an apartment building, so there were like 6 elevators. His elevator opened literally the second mine was closing. He didn't even see me. Yeah! Awesome! I love that these people are actually leaving and they're not being like, I was with this guy, and there was this sign, and I stayed, and then there was this sign, and then eventually he hit me, or, you know, something like crap. Some people really stay in bad situations for a very, very long time. It's complicated. Get over it, adds, yeah, same. He agreed to wear one. Then every time we worked up to putting it on, he came up with excuses to not put it on. Third time he declined because he just seriously can't come with one. I pointed out that it was a really scummy thing to do, as he knew it was the deal from the get-go. Mentioned that he didn't have any respect for me or my body, and I asked him to leave. He was genuinely shocked I ended it then and there and sent him home. Like, does that kind of peer pressure actually work? Yeah, unfortunately it does work on a lot of people. It sucks. It's sad. Chicken Smoker adds, I also find it more difficult to come with a condom, but my girlfriend insists on me wearing one, so I do. Less pleasure is better than no pleasure any day of the week, especially when the alternative is making her uncomfortable and risking a pregnancy. If I can't climax, we end up just wanking each other off for a bit or doing some oral, and it works fine. Any guy who refuses to wear a Johnny is either a moron or a dickhead. There's some more accurate worse words you could use. There's literally no excuse unless you're allergic or something. No, it's not about, like, refusing to wear a condom or not. It's about the fact that people say they will and then they won't. If you're like, look, I don't wear condoms, and you say that, okay, like, yeah, that's easy to judge, but it's better because at least the people who are getting involved with you know what they're getting into. You are being upfront with them, right? It's better to do that if that's what you actually do. If you don't wear them, it's better to say that than it is to act like you're not like that and fucking trick them. That's fucked up, and it's way more fucked up to do that than to be upfront about not using them. But that gets into our society and judgment and all that crap, which is always irritatingly relevant. And for now, that's it. If you guys like this kind of content, please let us know. Also, we were thinking about separating the story content onto another channel and having trending content. Because I understand we do a lot of different content and it's all confusing and it can be frustrating. So if you want us, if you would prefer, you the listener right now, if you would prefer that we separate these videos onto a different YouTube channel, or we just do this channel just with the story videos and then we do the trend stuff on another YouTube channel, let us know. Any kind of comment, seriously, you one listener, you may have the power to alter the direction of this channel. Haha. Anyway, if you want to show support, please do one of the 4 following. Watch another one of our videos. Check out our channel and subscribe. Comment below or like this video. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!